Hey man, one of the hardest lessons a man ever learns doesn't come from success. It doesn't come from confidence or achievement or anything he built on purpose. It comes from the exact moment a relationship starts slipping through his fingers and something in him wants to grab it with both hands before it's gone. That's the moment this video is actually about. Not the breakup itself, the few seconds right before it, where the instinct to beg feels less like a choice and more like gravity. Here's what almost nobody tells a man standing in that moment, and it's the whole truth this video is built around. Begging has never once restored attraction. Not once. What it does, every single time, is confirm that the emotional balance already tipped, and now everyone in the room knows it, including you. To understand why, you have to understand what attraction is actually tracking, because it's not tracking what you say, it's tracking what your behavior reveals about where your stability lives. And the moment a man starts pleading, explaining himself, apologizing on repeat, promising a version of change he hasn't earned yet, he's revealing something he never meant to reveal, that his sense of okayness was quietly living inside her decision the whole time, and now that decision is going the wrong way. That single realization changes everything else in this video, so let's sit with it before we go further. A woman watching a man beg isn't watching devotion. She's watching a man's emotional foundation collapse in real time, and no amount of sincerity changes what that collapse communicates. Most men will tell you they don't beg out of weakness. That's true, and it's also not the whole story. They beg because the mind, in the middle of losing something it valued, goes into a kind of survival mode nobody warns you about. Every good memory starts flashing at once. The laugh from 3 months ago, the ordinary Tuesday that felt like nothing at the time, and now feels like everything. And in that flood, the mind makes a very human, very wrong calculation. If I can just explain this clearly enough, she'll remember what we had and change her mind. Here's the problem with that calculation, and it's worth being precise about it, because this is the part most men never actually get told straight. Attraction doesn't run on persuasion. The moment you're trying to convince someone to value you, you've already stepped into a position that changes how they see you, regardless of how good your argument is. You could deliver the most honest, most vulnerable, most well-reasoned case for staying together ever spoken, and it wouldn't matter, because the act of making the case is itself the thing draining the room of whatever tension used to hold the relationship together. This is where a lot of men get stuck, because it feels deeply unfair. Maybe he was loyal. Maybe he showed up for months or years, patient and present, doing everything he thought a good partner does. And now, at the exact moment it matters most, the instinct to fight for what he built gets treated as the wrong move. That instinct isn't wrong to feel, it's just wrong to act on, because fighting through pleading doesn't repair what's cracked. It accelerates the crack. Here's why. Respect is one of the quiet, load-bearing walls of attraction, and once it starts going, it doesn't come back through more effort. It comes back, if it comes back at all, through a completely different behavior, the behavior of a man who doesn't chase what's already decided to leave. So picture the fork in the road, because there really is one, and it happens faster than most men realize. On one side is the man who reacts to the collapse by trying to reverse it through emotional force. Longer texts, repeated apologies, one more conversation to just talk it through. On the other side is a man who feels exactly the same devastation, the same flood of memory, the same 3 a.m. ache, but responds to it by going quiet, stepping back, and letting the outcome be what it's going to be. From the outside, these two men might look almost identical for the first hour. The difference only becomes visible over the following days, and it's the difference this entire video is trying to name clearly. The first man's silence would have been performance, a held breath, waiting to see if it worked. The second man's silence is real, because it's backed by an actual decision, that his dignity is worth more than any version of the relationship that requires him to abandon it. Here's what almost nobody explains about what happens next, and it's the part worth paying closest attention to, because it flips the entire emotional script most people expect. She anticipated the first man. Society trains everyone to expect the first man. The messages, the pleading, the attempt to reopen a door that's already closed. When what actually shows up instead is quiet, composed distance, it doesn't confirm what she thought was going to happen. It contradicts it. And contradiction, more than almost anything else, is what makes a mind stop and actually look at a situation instead of coasting on assumption. This isn't a technique for getting her back. That distinction matters enough to repeat directly. None of what follows works if it's performed as a strategy to manufacture her return. If a man walks away while secretly running the numbers on whether it'll bring her back, that calculation leaks through exactly the way begging does, just slower. The only version of this that actually protects anything is the version where the man genuinely means it, where he's not walking away to win, he's walking away because staying and pleading would cost him something he's no longer willing to pay. Here's the deeper mechanism worth understanding, because it explains why this isn't really about her reaction at all, even though her reaction is the part everyone fixates on. When a man begs, his entire emotional stability gets handed over. His peace becomes contingent on her decision. His sense of okayness rented out to someone who's already told him the lease is ending. Walking away breaks that arrangement, not because it's clever, because it's true. His life didn't start with this relationship, and it isn't required to end with it either, no matter how much it currently feels that way. That realization usually arrives painfully, and it should, because it's not a comforting truth. It's a structural one. Once a man internalizes that his identity was never supposed to be collateral in someone else's decision-making, something shifts in how he carries himself going forward. Not overnight, and not without real grief in the meantime, but permanently, in a way that changes every relationship that comes after this one. Here's where the story usually gets uncomfortable, in a way worth sitting with honestly. There's a period after choosing not to beg, where the mind keeps replaying the relationship anyway. Every disagreement gets re-litigated at 2 a.m. Every "if I just said this differently" scenario gets rehearsed on a loop. That doesn't mean the decision to walk away was wrong. It means grief doesn't respect the timeline of your dignity. The two run in parallel, real acceptance on one track, real pain on the other. And the strength here isn't in feeling nothing. It's in sitting with what you feel without letting it drive you back into pleading for something that's already been decided. There's a specific kind of moment worth naming here, because almost every man who goes through this eventually recognizes it. It's not the big blow-up or the final conversation. It's the smaller moment days later, reaching for the phone to share something funny, then remembering there's no one on the other end of that instinct anymore. That gap between the reflex and the memory of why the reflex no longer applies is where most of the real grief actually lives. It's quiet, it's undramatic, and it's exactly the kind of pain that pleading was always trying to avoid feeling in the first place, by rushing to fix the situation before the feeling had to be sat with at all. This is also, quietly, where the actual rebuilding starts, and it rarely announces itself as anything dramatic. It's smaller and slower than that. It's the gym schedule that comes back after months of neglect. It's the project that got shelved during the relationship, finally getting picked back up. It's a friendship that got quietly starved of attention, finally getting some of it back. None of that happens to prove anything to her. It happens because the emotional square footage that used to be entirely occupied by the relationship is now, uncomfortably, empty. And empty space, given enough time, becomes space you get to build something in again. It's worth being honest about how unglamorous this rebuilding actually is, because most versions of this advice skip straight to the confident, composed ending without showing the unremarkable middle that actually produces it. There's no single dramatic turning point. There's just a string of ordinary days where a man chooses, repeatedly, not to send the message he's drafted in his head a dozen times. Where he goes to the gym on a day, motivation is completely absent. Where he shows up for a friend's plans instead of staying home replaying old conversations. None of those days feel significant while they're happening. They only add up to something significant in retrospect, months later, when he notices he's become someone who doesn't flinch the way he used to. Here's the part that explains why this whole video isn't really about a breakup tactic, even though it looks like one on the surface. The transformation that matters isn't whether she comes back. Sometimes she does. Often, honestly, she doesn't. And that has to be said plainly, instead of dangled as a secret prize for good behavior. The transformation that matters is what happens inside the man, regardless of which outcome he gets. He stops organizing his sense of worth around whether he's chosen. He starts building a life substantial enough that the right person, whoever that ends up being, chooses to stay in it. Not because she was managed into staying, but because staying was genuinely what she wanted to do. There's a particular kind of quiet confidence that only shows up on the other side of this, and it's worth naming precisely because it's easy to mistake for coldness from a distance. It isn't coldness. A man who's done this rebuilding still feels things fully. He's not detached. He's not performing indifference. He's just stopped needing any particular outcome to validate the fact that he's fine. That distinction, feeling deeply without needing the feeling resolved a specific way, is the actual definition of the strength this whole topic keeps circling. It's also worth saying plainly what this transformation changes in the relationships that come afterward, because that's really where the value compounds. A man who's been through this once carries something different into whatever comes next. Not guardedness, not a wall, but a kind of baseline steadiness that doesn't spike into panic the first time distance shows up, or a text takes longer than expected to arrive. He's already survived the worst version of that fear once, and survived it without losing himself in the process. That memory, more than any technique, is what makes him harder to destabilize the second time around. And here's the last piece, the one that ties everything together instead of leaving it as an abstract lesson. If she does come back, through curiosity, through her own version of reflection during the silence, through simply missing something real that used to exist, that has to meet a man who's actually different, not a man who's been sitting frozen, still fully organized around her return the entire time. If nothing about him changed while he waited, her comeback lands on the exact same imbalance that broke things the first time. But if the months in between were spent honestly rebuilding, not performing rebuilding, actually doing it, then whatever happens next, whether she returns or whether she doesn't, happens to a man who's already whole either way. That's the real meaning under the phrase this video opened with. It was never about pride, and it was never a strategy dressed up as self-respect. It's simpler and heavier than that. A man's dignity is worth more than any relationship that requires him to trade it away to keep it. And the moment he understands that completely, he stops needing anyone's permission to be okay, including hers.